tourism sites to be presented and to be promoted. So what we shall do for today, to this afternoon's session, we'll be listening from each group presentation. So the first group would be group one, and then and then second group to follow suit, and then third one, and then we have the fourth, and to the final group, which be group seven. Each group will be given a maximum of 10 minutes for their presentation, followed by 5 minutes of question and answer sessions. So for today's presentation, there will be a queue. I mean, there will be bell, which will be rung about 3 times. The first bell will be rung about when we're about 3 minutes into the presentation, and then two times after 7 minutes, and then 3 times when your time is up. So that would be the signal for your presentation. So 3 means presentation should be over by then, and then followed by 5-minute questions. So maybe we can start the ball rolling now, I think. So we invite to the stage the first group to present their findings. While they're setting up, I would like to inform that due to limitation of microphone, one mic will be in the front and then another mic will be at the back. So if you have any questions, you can head to the designated area. Thank you.
Yeah, if my team members have anything to add. Okay. Ada Q&A kan?
Yeah, we have Q&A,
Oh, okay.
5 minutes.
What is your concept of tourism for Inikia?
Means which market segment kah?
Yeah, market segment.
So we hope to tap into the premier market segment, which is basically those from the Western market or those who are environmentally or sustainably conscious. But we are also maybe thinking also to diversify the market segment to also allow for domestic or regional tourism. So we could look at potentials for, I guess, 2 tiers of packages. No? Yeah. Prof, do you have anything you want to add?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Given the location, because of the biogeophysical setting and closeness to the Pen Borneo nanti, if the sites allow, say, 1 kilometer square to develop, are you suggesting only 1 operator, 2 operator, 3 operator, or what?
Okay, good question. I will channel this to my colleagues.
Our initial concept is actually sustainable premier eco-tourism destination. So what you are managing at that destination is about your wildlife, all those resources. If you have too many operators, it's quite difficult to manage. So what we are, personally, I recommend a good, passionate company who truly appreciate sustainability of the destination. In this case, if you look at the site, what the site has is a wide range of wildlife and then birds. So bird watching will be one of the key attractions. So to have a bird watching activity, you cannot have a crowded a destination. So managing of that destination, also called the investor, must be someone who is well versed in bird watching as well. I hope that answer. You want to?
My only concern, because this location is such a prime location next to Benboni, not too far away.
Yeah.
So the investment cost for infrastructure, enabling infrastructure, is going to be very little. But the area is so attractive.
Yeah, correct.
The idea is good. How do you fend off?
That means you have to have a policy and criteria of selection. That's why one of the operator, if you are inviting the investor, you have to check the background. Are they competent in bird watching? Are they capable of come out with the excellent guidelines to protect, at the same time to create values based on the natural resources we have? And we want to make sure their target market are the right group, not a mass. Because in ecotourism, when you talk about sustainability, mass tourism is totally out. You are looking into a premium package that create a unique, authentic values from the natural resources. Yeah, I hope that.
That should go into the management plan, right?
Yes. Thank you.
So any further question? I'm looking into the Slido. There's still yet to have question. So we can end the question right now, question and answer session. Is that okay? Okay. Then we'll head straight to the second group for presentation, and they will be explaining about Maliau tourism site presentation. Would be the same. We will invite to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. I guess you have a good lunch. We are from Group 2. Our team, group members are Jada, Jacqueline, Ron D, Sal, Effendi, me, Sophia, Ines, Murad, and Kim. So our tagline for Maliau, our site, is called Maliau Wonder Resort, Gateway to the Lost World. This is our tagline. And we are proposing ecotourism destination that located near the entrance to the Maliau Basin. So instead of on-site, then we have Gateway to the Lost World. One of the SABAH most pristine and mysterious rainforests. Okay, this is all about it. And talk about we have all these strengths about we have mud volcanoes, marine fossils, sediments, waterfalls. We could have stargazing there, astrotourism, night safaris. But another thing, we want to have a wildcat as the mascot of Maliau Basin there to attract children, young and older young kids. Yeah. And then we also, this development plan will focus on sustainability, community engagement, and controlled growth to avoid over-commercialization. And the vision includes green energy, wildlife corridors, environment education centers, and potential partnership with international hotel chains so that the standard of international standards we can upkeep the international standard in Maliau Basin area. We also have positioned as a gateway to the lost world of Borneo. Maliau Wonder Resort promise a rare blend of nature, culture, and responsible tourism. And all this is you can do as a marketing lah. Okay, this is the map. This is where the main road is. So we are thinking the tourism site is right in front of the gate there. This is the opposite area. So the area will be around this big. Okay, this is the strength that we found. It's near the main road, it's along the main road, and it's not partially suitable for CIQS development, but it's complement for CIQS development because it's only 2 hours away from Serudong. And we have presence of marine fossil sediment, stargazing, night activities, night safaris, and we also targeting GSTC certification for responsible tourism. And then another interest, we have mud volcanoes there, elephant sighting, flora and fauna diversity species that boleh cakap lah kan. And we also have waterfall and river system. We do have wildlife protection in place, and we have community rangers that help us to do the enforcement. And then, it's already, apa sudah? Okay, stakeholder management. And the weaknesses are, we have zero involvement from plantation owner and nearby communities. Tidak cukup kuat lah. And our infrastructure is still poor in terms of water, electricity, telecommunications. Jalan raya pun buruk-buruk lah. And we are shortage of manpower where the area is so big, we don't have enough people to do enforcement to make sure there's no poaching. Wildlife poachings happen there. And okay, utility gaps, we already talk about it. And we also have funding issue because we have such a big area, so it might have a funding issue. So we have to find ways to get how to get a lot of money. And high logistic costs where, because we are middle of nowhere, the township between 2 ends are very far away. Hence, the cost of the logistics is very high lah. And maintenance challenge because we have all tropical forest is very high humid, and it leads to very, very expensive to upkeep everything to be in good conditions every year. Road conditions, healthcare access. Healthcare access because we are far away from 2 townships. opportunities, we're thinking about proper gas station at that stretch of the road, new infrastructures about roads, utilities, facilities, 24-hour clinics in the tourism site. This is very important. And it's also Serudong gateway proximities. I think it's when the road's well built, it's only 2 jam saja. Community-based tourism, we will engage nearby like Kampung Salaron, and then surrounding of the ethnics are Tidong, Lundaye, Murut, and Iban for the cultural experience. And then the nearby plantation owner, and we would have a biomass potential because we have so many estate plantation nearby. And that site, our tourism site is great opportunities for environment education center. Yeah, job creations, of course, for the locals. Wildlife corridors for the road, and make sure it's included with the wildlife lah villa itapen bonyo jalan di binakan. Green energy, we are aim for self-sustainability with large-scale renewable system. Private investment is important and very fast. UNESCO recognitions and wildcat rehab centers, where this mascot will be lah, because we will want to have a wildcat rehab centers there. The threats are malaria, monkey poaching, garu harvesting, natural disaster, non-local development, human-elephant conflict, mass tourism, wildlife disturbance. And this is how we done our attractive two tours. Yeah. And this is how we do it. We've attached it. All right. Toes. This is our toes analysis, strength opportunities. We use the green standard attractions to draw investors and for UNESCO recognitions. We also promote cross-border tourism via CIQS and road access to Nusantara capital. We build community tourism with local ethnic group, and we showcase night safari, anti-poaching, and education to boost ecotourism image. For strength threats, we strengthen patrols to stop poaching and human wildlife, and we also control visitor numbers to avoid mass tourism. And we try to, it's not control visitor numbers, but we try to setting a carrying capacity to protect wildlife. And then we offer guided activities. We also run educational awareness campaign. For witness opportunities, we fix infrastructures. We train locals, fund projects through biomass, education, and culture tourism. And we try to improve logistics costs. For example, have new gas station and improve the border towns links. And strength threats are set up emergency and health facilities for disease and disaster response. We try to add enforcement staff to tackle poaching and illegal settlements. We try to upgrade the road for safer access in emergency and safer for wildlife. And also, what I mentioned before, setting the carrying capacity to protect wildlife and habitat. This is our goal. Quickly, just going through Maliau Basin Tourism Site Sustainable Development. So this is our objective. Then, number one, we must have a strategic environment assessment first to make sure this is a tool to make sure it's reached to the practice and standards of GSTC, and also compliance with sustainability audits, sustainable development, and MBCA consultant. This is number two, comply sustainable tourism criteria, and we try to establish environment education center. 7 is to develop the high-end niche and tourism market, and we to develop socio-economic development. And then another one is to enhance the sense of security in tourism site. to make sure the CIQS works, and achieve UNESCO to create international standards, resorts, and accommodation facilities, to aim for 100% renewable energy inside the site, and to develop rest and recreation facilities first, for example, gas station and clinic, before it starting, maybe in like first or second years gitu. And we also, wildlife corridor is very important so that we can advocate inclusion of wildlife crossing in Pan Borneo. Yeah. Sorry, I've been skipped a lot. If you have any question, please just ask, and then we can go back. That's all from Group 2. Thank you so much.
So there's a lot of tourism concepts in your slide, like you are looking at wildlife tourism and you at the same time you're looking at geotourism. So the concept is actually, what is it?
If I'm the investor, I'm $1 billion, I'll choose which concept I want that I can achieve my ROI within 30 years.
So, for example, if your investors thinking about mass tourism, so you open up this area for mass tourism?
As my friend mentioned just now, we need to have limited number. Mass tourism, sometimes I disagree with people says mass tourism is destruction. I've been in this industry for 40 years, so I've gone through this. I've been to 9 countries, so I learn of all those things. As long you have limit number of visitors, you in control. So I've been working with investors for quite some time, and they go to you, they put their money on the table. Say, this is the concept I want because I earn money.
That's why you put the GSTC criteria, because
Exactly.
that will support the
Yes,
investors.
because once you have this GSTC, everything will go smoothly. Yeah, thank you. I have the answer concept.
Your proposal, I mean, it has various potential. I mean, one potential is, as you said, if you have a 1 billion, if I'm multi-billion,
Yeah.
I will, I think you guys know about the lost wall of Tambun in Perak. That could be potential. I mean, your proposal seems to fit into that as well.
Correct.
But it's also possible, is it not also possible for different operators to take up the various suggestions that you make?
Well,
for example, forest rehabilitation will be taken by one operator.
Correct. Yeah, that is why we put the cat species, right? So cat species meaning to say we'll leave it to the expert. The conservationists to run for us. And we work together as a team members.
So you are recommending because we have to.
Yes.
Your recommendation has to be in the management plan, right?
Right.
So the management plan has basically 2 concepts.
Correct.
One concept is one guy developing everything, like the lost wall of Tambun in Perak. The other one is multi-stakeholders, taking stake depending on the list that you gave.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, that's all for group. Oh, Prof. Jen.
I know GSTC is very well known, but actually it's very costly and the criteria is very intense. Since we have this Asian ecotourism standard that has been agreed by the ASEAN country at the ministerial level. So, and that sets of criteria is more generic and it follow the international standard of ecotourism. It look into the GSTC also. So my suggestion is that although I'm not advocate that you must do it, but it would be more feasible and less cost and easy for you to practice when it comes to audit. There is not so much high standard, because GSTC is actually developed more on the Western perspective. Yeah, thank you. Yes, if you look at ASEAN Ecotourism Standard, the facility, the services, and the facilities standard is almost the same criteria. So, yeah, ASEAN one actually has been agreed at the ministerial level. Now, by right, every country, depending on which minister department, supposed to be implement this standard, just like your green hotel standard. So it depends on MOTAC. If MOTAC wanted to implement within the Malaysia context, then we will start doing the training for the auditors. So we can actually train our local people. Any tourism operator or Yayasan Sabah can pick up this point and train your people as an auditor. Then ASEAN standard will come up with another certification. So you can get that, and this is in the same way that, like what I said yesterday, standard is very important, leading towards sustainability and leading towards quality experiences. So that will enhance your competitive advantage over other destinations. Thank you.
That's a valid statement. My only concern is there's this statement that people always say, we depends on the market force. Say for example, I have a resort and my market is mostly Western, and they respect one particular standard more than the others. I would probably prefer to do that. If it is a voluntarily nature, then I think that will be left to the two operators to decide. If it is compulsory, legally, then it's a different case. But I think there are certain sectors of tourism that prefer GSTC, and perhaps we should give the room. As far as the management plan is concerned, I think whoever is developing all the 7 destinations, they will have to depend on who are their favorite guests.
Yes, I agree with this. But then if you are looking into, if you look into today's trend, whether GSTC, Green Tourism Destination, Green Travelers, and Asia Ecotourism Standard, if you cross-check, because when we prepare this ASEAN Ecotourism Standard, we look into a standard that is inclusive. So it's just a name only. And in fact, GSTC is very, very costly and it's very difficult to implement. What I'm suggesting is that in case any of the company pick up as an investor, you can actually start document based on the criteria. You don't need to immediately, because you only need 36 criteria, and if you go through that list of criteria, it's very simple. So you have more or less 50% achieved that. That's very important, because when you start from the beginning, it's easier for you to implement, rather than you are in the middle of operation, it's quite difficult. You have to make changes, others. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. In fact, we are certified GSTC, right? We are the first one in Sabah. So you're talking about expensive? I don't think so expensive. It costs us 25K only. It's too certified. And I went to London. I choose Grand Hotel and GSTC and Malaysian standard. People choose GSTC. Hence, our result 100% every day. You know the difference? If I use Malaysian standard, I have 30%. If I use GSTC, I have 100% occupancy. Now, which one I choose? GSTC. I'm sitting pretty for 2 years. I'm earning. And my room occupancy 100% every year. Right? So, my point is that a different company, they have different tastes. And they have different market. Our market is more to 90% European market. So we need to follow their standard. Otherwise, you will left behind and you will have Malaysian standard all the times. So I hope I explained that. Thank you.
As a manager of the area, I have to admit to you that we are actually BRL is not the first. Maliau is the first certified GSTC, both the center for accommodation and the area as a destination. But well, of course we got it for Chipla because we are supposed to be the example. But so as a destination, Malay Basin is already certified GSTC. But I would like to challenge my staff, because although I've said that it's good, but I think it will be good for us to have the ASEAN as well. Huh, Rondi? For as a destination. I mean, there's no harm in getting a few. Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, we can afford it, then why not? Yeah. But Malaysia is certified GSTC as a destination. So having a view is good because this standard is a ticket for people. I mean, it's a way for me to say I'm confident because they have this. So different standard cater for different market. But if you have an Asian standard, and it's good for everybody, but there is still some segment of visitors who say, I insist on having that particular standard and not that. For example, in oil palm plantation or in forestry, some people said, I only want RSPO, I don't respect MSPO. I only respect FSC certified, not the other certification. So this is what we call a market force. The market has to rule to some extent.
So all in all, if we can have it all, why not, kan?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Group 2, for the enticing discussion just now. Okay, we head straight to the third presenter from the third group. So the area would be from so the area would be Tibo Tourism Site. Again, first 3 minutes will be one ring of a bell, and then the 7 minutes, about two, and then lastly, 3 rings of a bell.
akan membicarakan tentang Tibau Tourism Site lah. Jadi sedikit background berkenaan dengan Tibau Tourism inilah. Jadi kalau kawasan zon tourism yang di luar Maliau ni, Tibau adalah merupakan kawasan yang close, paling dekat dengan Maliau Basin lah. It's about approximately about 30 kilometers from gate and then 60 kilometers from the study center. Okay? Jadi kalau tadi kumpulan Sofia bagi tahu, dorang betul-betul di depan gate, tapi Tibau ini adalah merupakan kawasan zon yang terletak paling dekat dengan kawasan Maliau Gate. 30 km daripada gate dan 60 km daripada Maliau Basin Study Center. So, apakah konsep yang kami buat untuk kawasan Tibau ini lah? Jadi oleh kerana kawasan ini berdekatan just next to the main road Sapulut Kalabakan, and then in the future dia adalah juga merupakan salah satu jajaran yang sama dengan Jalan Pen Borneo. Jadi konsep kami lebih kepada R&R facilities lah. Kita buat restoran, kita buat restroom, surau, gas station, utility and facilities untuk pelawat lah. Dan juga kita akan buat satu tourist information center sebab dia berada di tepi jalan. Dan satu lagi, sebelum ini Maliau Basin untuk masuk ke kawasan Basin, kita ada di dalam Maliau Basin kita gunakan tol sedia ada macam dari Agatis kita pergi ke Nepenthes. Tetapi untuk kawasan ini, oleh kerana kawasan ini adalah kawasan yang paling hampir dengan kawasan Basin, kita boleh buat second gate to the Basin. So daripada Tibau ini kita buat jalan di Kalamus, and then from Kalamus we can go to Nepenthes yang trail sedia ada dan kita boleh akses itu air terjun Maliau dan air terjun yang lain-lain lah. And then also in this Tibau juga kita buat ini business center, kita ada visitors accommodation sama seperti yang kita ada di study center. So saya bilang ahli kumpulan siap kita buat lebih kurang macam dia boleh jadi niche, dia boleh jadi mass tourism juga lah sebab dia berdekatan dengan jalan raya. Jadi bila lain kali ada jajaran ledakan akibat daripada pembangunan yang berlaku di Kalimantan, orang ramai akan keluar masuk ke Tawau, ke Kota Kinabalu menggunakan jalan berhampiran dengan kawasan zon inilah. Okey, kalau kita tengok kawasan ini adalah Maliau Gate, ini Tibau, yang dekat dengan anu ni. Dan kalau sekarang di sini Maliau Basin, di sini adalah area yang tempat kita reach itu air terjun lah. So kalau dari sini kita boleh buat jalan baru trail untuk kita akses Basin daripada zon karya inilah. Okay, itu maksudnya kita buat second gate ke Basin. Okay, and then daripada kita punya SWOT analysis, dia punya strength adalah dia adalah dari segi accessibility, dia adalah betul-betul di sebelah jalan main Kalabakan Sapulut Road punya lah. Once itu Pen Borneo sudah siap, ini adalah merupakan jalan yang sama digunakan untuk jalan Sapulut Kalabakan sekarang ini lah. And then oleh kerana kawasan ini adalah berada di tengah-tengah Jabatan Hutan Tibau dan juga Maliau Gate, jadi ada presence of kaki tangan forestry dan juga Maliau, jadi dia punya activity for illegal poaching is kurang lah di kawasan itu. Dia berada di tengah-tengah antara Jabatan Hutan Tibau dan juga Maliau Basin Gate. Okey, dari segi community berhampiran dengan kawasan Tibau ini, kita ada community daripada Kampung Sapulut, Salarong dan juga Tataluan. Jadi in the future bila kita buat tourism activities, kita sudah tentu akan melibatkan komuniti daripada kampung-kampung inilah as a guide, orang yang buat handicraft nanti yang akan bertugas di kawasan inilah. And then di kawasan ini juga kita ada good water source lah. And then dari segi kelemahan yang macam diberitahu kumpulan sebelum ini, kita ada road condition yang buat masa ini diorang bilang jalan bulan lah. Tapi once nanti itu Pen Borneo sudah siap, hopefully untuk sampai ke kawasan ini akan jadi lebih mudah lah. And then of course kita baru buat preliminary survey, kita punya data very limited, and then kita masih perlu buat another wildlife survey lah untuk kawasan ini. And of course kita ada funding issues untuk kita support ini aktiviti pembangunan tourism. Dan sama juga macam kumpulan sebelum ini, kawasan ini terletak jauh daripada bandar yang berhampiran, about something like 250 km from Tawau lah di kawasan Tibau ini. And then kita ada poor telco communication, dan also kita tidak apa-apa facilities di kawasan ini. Okey, dari segi opportunity. Jadi suatu hari nanti in the future bila itu sudah ada jajaran jaringan pengangkutan daripada Kalimantan sama ada menuju kawasan Kinabalu atau Tawau, sudah tentu jalannya akan menjadi satu kawasan yang paling sibuk digunakan untuk orang-orang daripada Tawau, Kalimantan dan juga KK untuk antara sama ada pergi ke Pondok Kinabalu ataupun Tawau lah. Jadi sudah pasti satu hari nanti kalau tidak ada tourism zone di kawasan ini, dia akan jadi macam menjadi tempat yang sangat ramai dilewati turis lah. And then kita juga boleh buat new infrastructure macam gas station, rest area, utilities and facilities for tourists lah. And then macam saya beritahu tadi, kita lack of information about this area. Kita belum ada information yang cukup pasal area ini, so kita boleh buat another wildlife survey lah. And then untuk kawasan ini juga from the preliminary survey that we have done before, so kawasan ini memang dia ada dia punya kelebihan lah. Kita boleh buat bird watching activities, wildlife observation, jungle and hiking activities juga lah di kawasan ini. Dan of course jobs opportunity for local community. And then macam saya cakap tadi, kita boleh jadikan kawasan ini second gate to the Maliau Basin. And then of course untuk enhance kita punya protection, kita boleh buat build ranger post lah di kawasan ini. Dan selain daripada itu, kawasan ini juga adalah merupakan ex-logging area yang juga merupakan satu opportunity untuk kita buat forest rehabilitation lah. Lama betul launching berbunyi. Okey, dari segi threats lah. Jadi kawasan ini terus terang adalah merupakan kawasan laluan utama gajah. Jadi kebanyakan gajah yang ada di sekitar Maliau Gate ni, kawasan ini juga adalah merupakan kawasan yang menjadi laluan utama gajah lah. Jadi kalau macam kamu berkesempatan pergi dalam Maliau Basin ni, kalau kau nampak this day kami punya signboard jalan semua cantik. Suddenly besok dia punya signboard semua jatuh, tidak sudah. Itu keadaan di Maliau lah, sebab human and elephant punya konflik ni lah. And then bagus, threat dia lebih kurang sama dia semua. Dan kita terus pergi ke action plan lah. Jadi untuk kami punya long term objective, so kita mau secure initial funding for basic infrastructure lah. Jadi kita mau buat funding proposal, and then seterusnya kita kepada comprehensive report lah untuk action plan ni. And then yang second objective, kita begin initial improvement yang untuk akses jalan ke kawasan tourism inilah. And then kita establish a basic ranger post for enforcement and safety lah. Jadi kita buat ranger post untuk keselamatan di kawasan ini. Jadi penting juga kawasan-kawasan macam ini kita ada post ranger untuk kita buat security of the visitors that going to visit our area in the future lah. Okay? And then yang the third one is kita dari segi creating tourism product, identify a new trail to the basin, Tibau, Kalamus, Nepenthes, Ginsing, and Agatis, or establish a loop trail returning to Tibau from that Nepenthes lah. So sama ada kita mau dari Tibau kita ke Nepenthes, turun ke Agatis Camp dalam basin, dalam Stadi Santai Maliau, ataupun kita buat trail yang balik semula ke Tibau, loop trail. And then kita identify bird spot, nature trail, and then kita buat product assessment involving internal dan external teams lah. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Question from the floor, ada soalan? Oh, okay, the back. Wait, boleh.
Suara pula ya. Nama John T. Saya ada soalan kepada ini grup. Sama juga yang grup yang sudah dibentang tadi ini. Soalan saya begitu. What is, if you were the investor dalam property ini, what is your preferred arrangement between the property owner sama you as an investor ataupun tourism operator?
Okay.
I give you these three options lah. Lease arrangement, macam Sabah Parks punya, you will lease it for X number of years. Kan? Lease arrangement. The other one is maybe JV. Third one is profit sharing.
I think because the concept is about creating a R&R facilities kan, and then I think the R&R kami boleh build dia punya infrastructure, and then we rent to we ask same things like we do in Sabah Park lah. We using company like Sutra Sanctuary kan, okay, itu salah satu lah. And then okay, sebelum itu in saya punya group kita ada Joshua from Sarawak. Maybe Joshua, you want to say something about this?
I think from a hotel operator point of view, joint venture and what was the other one? Profit sharing, and then the other one is lease. I think most hotel operator would be going for the lease, because if you're doing the joint venture and profit sharing, that means they are making decision together. So interference or change of personnel is I think most will go for the lease. Yeah.
If I get you right, kalau lease arrangement, you got the freedom to do what you want to do. With the TOR, of course, from Dr. Hamza. What about the previous two groups? Can you share your thinking along that line?
Yeah, thank you. To me, I would like to go for option that shareholders. For example, I'm giving an example. Let's see, Yayasan Sabah want to invest 50%, and another investors from abroad invest 50%. So it become 100%. So I think moving forward, this is the best way of doing it for the time being. The reason being because, you see, this area owned by the government. So if you said you want to take over everything, you cannot say anything also. You still have to follow the rules and regulations, right? There must be a rules and regulation. It doesn't mean that I have 100%, I invested, I can do anything. I can log over the forest. You cannot. So hence, very important for us to give a piece of cake divided into equally, so that we can run smoothly. And I believe by doing so, we can manage it properly, and also it is sustainable. Yeah. So look at Yayasan Sabah, Shangri-La Tanjung Aro. I'm giving you one example. 60% Yayasan Sabah invested there. The building belonged to them, and 40% at Shangri-La. And until today, they are making tons of money. That's the best way. One example, right? So I think moving forward, this is owned by the government. I think we should do similar. It's already left simple there. Why you want to create other things, right? You know that things make money. Why don't you divert it again and do something different? Yeah, that's my opinion. Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, you cannot lease and you let be. What we are trying to do now is to establish the perimeter in which the various possibility have to stick to. Even if it is leasing, you have to subscribe to rules and regulation. If it is, if for example, share basis, you still have to follow basic rules and regulation. Definitely, you have to remember this is a conservation area. You're talking about an area which is basically forest reserve and specified as conservation area with specific rules. So that is fundamental. You have to adhere to that. Now, what will be open for discussion? Because this forum make a recommendation. It goes to another level of decision making, which is stakeholder consultative workshop, where the other stakeholders, the other get to share what they want. And then ultimately, even that is not definitive because ultimately the government will have to decide. So we give government a choice, for example, lease, is it going to be leased? Okay. Somebody will have to explain to the government that if it is leasing, these are the conditions that they need to adhere. If it is a sharing basis, okay, this is the regulation that you must adhere. Always the fact that the government still want to be in control, but making sure that the company or rather the investor have a room comfortable enough for them to feel good that they will make money out of this investment. I think that is what we want to create. But I just want to put our foot on the ground that it is our role to make a recommendation. It gets to the other level, and hopefully at the end of the day, we have a document that will say, these are the choice that we have, what they have discussed, and based on that, the recommendation, the government approved this kind of SOP. So that's where we are actually. So the option that John mentioned is, all of them is valid, but there's a rules that govern, I think, these options. Thanks.
Thank you so much for the explanation just now, Doctor. So, without further ado, I think we should continue our presentation to the fourth group. From Penang Tourism side, so we invite them to the stage. I mean, please be informed that the Slido app still available. So if you do have a question and you're shy to ask, you can just put down your question there, and we'll try to put the question up as much as possible. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvia, and I will be representing Group 4. So we discussed in length about Penang Ecotourism site, and just a little overview about, let me see. So we discussed about the overall view of Penang Tourism site, and then we did a SWOT analysis, and then we did a TOS analysis, and then further on action plan. And this is just a little bit about Penang itself. And one thing, I wouldn't go through all of it, but I think one of the most interesting thing is that it's actually a gateway to Lake Limununsut, which is one of the biggest natural lake. And for the SWOT analysis, we look at the strength, and for the strength, we look at the rich conservation backdrop. We also look at the high biodiversity. We also look at the proximity to major beautiful landscapes and undisturbed natural appeals. So looking at all this, then we can sort of like tap on the type of packages that we're going to do. Yeah. And then we incorporated the richness of local culture heritage, which is looking at the different ethnic groups, and also which contributes to a multitude of colorful traditional costumes, languages, etc. Because I think when you talk about biodiversity, etc., I mean, it's always nice to incorporate the human element and the culture element into it, yeah? And also, I think the strong commitment from government and non-government agencies. And for the weaknesses, I think one of the things that we look at was the limited infrastructures and accessibility, which is poor road access, inconsistent utilities, etc. I won't go through all of this, but anyway, the other thing was looking at the digital isolation, uneven or absent internet and cellular coverage. yeah, reducing the potential for bookings, promotion, emergency communication. And also, I think there is a lack of baseline information, limited baseline data on community engagement, readiness, insufficient information about biodiversity of that area. And also, I think for the moment, okay, there is no tourism infrastructures. For the opportunity, I think a lot of it is more on community-based ecotourism. And I think we look at to prevent too much dependency on natural resources as a source of livelihood. So when we talk about it, it's trying to take away the tendency for people to do much more hunting. Because I think wildlife tourism or ecotourism, it depends a lot on wildlife. So if there's no wildlife, etc., then I think that's where we lose that momentum of that ecotourism thing, yeah, etc. And then stewardship is very important because we need a strong conservation and community integration. Yeah, we need the community. So when we talk about this for Pinanga, I think it's really nice to incorporate that element of community, not only the wildlife, incorporating everything. Now we also look at the MBCA strategic management plan, etc., collaboration with tourism players to invest in tourism-oriented activities, etc. And then for the threats, it's more on climate change because I think Tongot area, the area is prone to flood, and also drought, forest fire, illegal wildlife crime, contributing to biodiversity loss or premature extinction, which is elephant killing, etc., encroachment, and many more, and infrastructural neglect and maintenance issues, which is the potential issue of funding contributing to maintenance issue. Then we look at the risks from exclusion of benefits, meaning to say that we want the benefit to not only go to the big players, but also to go much more to the local community itself. Environmental risks, we look at unsustainable logging and land use changes, and youth migration, yeah, so diminishing community, I would say. Human-wildlife conflict, we incorporated that. And again, regulatory complexity, etc., skills and manpower shortage, I think. Also carrying capacity, community disengagement, okay? And we did the TOWS matrix, and I think for the strength and opportunities, using rich conservation backdrop and high biodiversity to position Pinanga as a flagship ecotourism site under MBCA plan for 2023 onwards. And these are the, strength opportunities, and then strengths and threats. We look at all this. And then also weakness opportunities. We look at all this, weakness and threats as well. We look at all this as well. And for the final action plan, we want to develop Pinanga as a flagship for ecotourism destination. I think that's one of the things that we want to do. And for the long-term strategic objectives, we put in achieve community participation and benefit sharing. I think this is very important. And then for the one-year goal, I think it's very important to get a community assessment, willingness and readiness, stakeholders engagement. We need to see how all the stakeholders are happy with what is happening. Capacity building as well. Form community tourism committee and conduct workshops. Workshops, establish benefit sharing guidelines, and then measures, community workshops, stakeholders, surveys, etc. And then our target is workshops, training. We also need to do a survey. And also we need to have 2 local champions, because I think there's 2 kampong within Pinanga. So at least we need the 2 champions to actually be the backbone, yeah? 1 guideline and 1 report, and then a person responsible, YS, relevant stakeholders, etc. And we put in here as well, the long-term strategic would be to develop infrastructure's accessibility, because I think it's no use to promote this area if we do not have all this, place, if we do not have this all in place. And obviously for all this, I think it's important to get, cabinet approvals, you propose cabinet approvals, secure funding from the government, and then we would encourage investment from private sectors. And I think to present a proposal, and I think we added in 50 to 100 million funding, and Yayasan Sabah, state government, enhance, I think the last one would be to enhance biodiversity conservation and stewardship, which is to develop a visitor management plan and a wildlife protection awareness. Programs developed, 2 programs, and people responsible. So when you look at the whole scenario of having Pinanga on the world map is to incorporate not only the wildlife, but also to incorporate the high biodiversity wildlife itself, as well as the community, because this is what ecotourism is, benefiting the community. Okay, that's all from my side, from my group. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I think my group is ready to help me with the answers.
Definitely. So yeah, if you have any question, we're opening the floor for any question for discussion or any opinion rather. Okay, looking at the apps, I don't see any questions. So how about we head straight for the next group? Okay, so we head straight next to the 5th group.
Terus mau bawa mic kok.
Itulah tuh. Okay. Okay, get ready, group 5, presenting about Inarat tourism site. Okay, thank you so much, group 4. Did you will be presenting? Support, okay.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Deirdre Julius Gulip from headquarters of Yayasan SABAH, representing my group, number 6. And 6, very advanced pula. Group 5, sorry. So our group will be presenting about Inarat tourism site, focusing on ecotourism potentials. And our data might seems a bit basic, but I hope we can work together on it during the presentation. But before we start, I would like to ask a question, just out of curiosity, if you know what Inarat means. Inarat, anyone? I also don't know. Actually, I try so hard to find in Google, but we cannot find any findings. But it will good to know if we know what Inarat means. Now, Inarat is actually a small remote village in Tongod, Sabah, Malaysia. It is known for its close-knit community, and based on the information that we saw in Google, one of the strong community that lives inside there is the Sungai people, and majority dominantly inhabit by Murut people. So two of these tribes lives together there. Recent medical camp in Kampung Inarat show the commitment of volunteers and challenges villagers face, with some traveling far to get basic medical care. So from here we know that there's no hospital or clinics being built there permanently, but they are medical camp by these volunteers. Now, looking in a map here, me myself, I haven't been there because last year during the expedition, our camp was actually in Kalamus camp. But it's good to learn, good to see where this Inarat tourism site is. And if you can see the blue circle on the map, it is actually the Lake Linamunsut, which is the main character for the tourism potential for Inarat. But we cannot focus only on the nature-based. Along the way, when we want to make this ecotourism success, we must have the people that plays its character or play their role inside to make it success. So you can see over there, Kampung Inarat, and just a star there, it's like explosion. That is actually the base camp, where the people during the expedition, they camp there and they will go to Lake Linamunsut. And Kampung Inarat was actually look like this. Yeah, it's not all jungle. They do have wooden houses on stilts, and apart from four-wheel drive cars and also trekkings, we also have boat rides, which will take about 40 minutes to get to Lake Linamunsut. It's quite long boat rides. So it is home to indigenous communities, mainly orang sungai, like I mentioned earlier, surrounded by lowland deep trockup forests, river forests, hill forests, rich in wildlife and plant diversity as well, because we saw the data from last year. And we do found out that Lake Linamunsut itself, we do have some bears around that caught on camera traps, and other big mammals as well, like the sambar deers and other primates like gibbons. Some villagers travel long distance through forest treks or by boat, being mentioned earlier. And the nearest hospital is 5 hours away. We play a joke, actually. I said, we can die and we can get alive. Okay, 5 hours, imagine that. So these are our SWOT analysis. These are our strength, of course, nature, existing access, the waterways, road, cultural assets as well. That plays very important part. We cannot just make it like didn't exist. And then the proximity to Damai landscape, actually. Like Miss Grace just now, she mentioned that this area is very near to Imbak Canyon, actually. Okay, and then for weakness, these are the weakness, access, remote area. Okay, and then here are the opportunities. We can actually start a duck tourism inside there. Okay, it's not D-U-C-K, but it's D-A-R-K. Duck tourism. If you're talking duck tourism, if you ask people in Sabah or Malaysia, they will highly relate it on ghosts. But actually, duck tourism is more than that. It's about educating people, the tragedy, the dark past, the death, or whatever it is. That is the element that we want, actually, not only ghost. But before we proceed, Linamunsut actually derived from, I don't know what language, but it basically means no unsut, or the place is actually being sunk because of curse. So I think that is the best element for duck tourism, to start inside there. And then other than duck tourism, community-based tourism, research opportunity as well. Like I said, abundance of the wildlife, we have to make full use of it. And then restoration type tourism, agro-wildlife tourism. Agro-wildlife tourism is maybe something new for some of you, but I've seen how people work together with the oil palm plantation people. How from they hate the elephants came to the plantation site to they love that the elephants come because they work together. When the elephants, herd of elephants come, they will tell the NGO, they said, oh, the elephants came here, and then they will bring the tourists there. So according one of our resource person from our group, they said Kampung Inarat has very close to the oil palm plantation area and being visited by elephants actually. Okay, and then for threats, of course, safety, uncontrolled tourism development. So these are all the traits. And there's a lot of things to say here, but I hope you just take picture if you want to read. Okay, and then these are the those strategies. Okay. And then also a very long, very wordy here, but later on maybe in Q&A we can continue with that. And then we are looking 10 years ahead. We must be very visionary, okay? Okay, now, who want to see Lake Linumuntsut after 10 years? Who want to see, who want to imagine? This is just from our vision. It looked like this. So you will see elephants being very friendly to human? No, just joking. But actually this is how Lake Linumuntsut look like if you haven't been there. There's a big lake, but this is more to like Kinabatangan River. This is from AI, ChatGPT. Okay, we are thinking to do kayaking as well inside, and there are maybe base camp, not a big lodge or whatever, it's just small one. And of course, not the elephants very near to human. We don't want that. All right. So yeah, that's all about us. The Inara tourism and Lake Linumuntsut hold very exceptional potential tourism area. Okay, and opportunities include developing community-based experience and addressing challenges such as remoteness, limited infrastructure, environmental risk. Actually, we try to see it as a threat or weakness, but sometimes this threat and weakness can become the unique selling key points when we are trying to sell our tourism, unique things in Sabah. That's all from our group. Thank you.
I have a question. It's interesting presentations, but the last picture really disturbed me. Because years ago, when we did the wildlife survey, I mean the scientific expeditions, and the aftermath of that toward formulating the first wildlife survey, when we identify the site, we have a conscious discussion, and we said we shouldn't have a development at the lake. That's why the placements of this tourism site is further down the river, the river that feeds out of the lake. So yes, the lake is an interesting destination, and it's a crucial destination for this location. My question is, are you proposing to have that picture on the lake in about a few years' time, or you are sticking to the strategy adopted earlier?
Well, thank you for the questions. It's very, it's like a food for thoughts. Anyway, we would really love to have some of the elements from the picture, but not all, okay? There's a good thing if we have at least one base camp inside, or we can call it in our language, sulap. Kalau langsung tiada apa-apa di sana, orang nampak, oh tidak siapa punya tanah nih, dia bilang, kita boleh buat apa saja. So there's a thin line why we should have at least one, apa orang bilang macam sulap lah, ataupun lodge begitu kecil, bukan lodge mahal lah, tapi at least we have. And then it is also used for safety purpose. Kalau langsung tiada apa-apa, kalau ada apa-apa macam gajah tadi kan, we know how elephants apa di sini kan, where should we go apa semua for safety purpose juga. bukan langsung tiada. But it's a good suggestion too, Doctor. If you want to make further down, it is actually good idea to prevent destroying, cutting here and there, doing unnecessary destroying things kan. But yeah.
Your group, because ultimately this report will go into the management plan. First, it goes to be presented to the stakeholder. It's good for the group, your group, to suggest what do you recommend. Now, if you wish to, as I said earlier, if you wish to have trail only to the lake, then you can do that. If you wish to propose that there shall be road to the lake, that's another suggestion that you can make. If you wish to have a facility at the lake, that's your group suggestions. Because at the end of the day, somebody in the stakeholder, akan tanya, I don't necessarily agree with that. Maybe the people from the conservation fraternity will probably not agree with that. But it's just like, because the lake, the good thing about Malay Basin is lake is like the mountain have one major destination, which is the peak. To get to the peak, you have to have Panalaban. You have to get to the peak, you have to have the KINABALU headquarters. But the KINABALU headquarters cannot accommodate all the potential visitors to the mountain. So you have homestays, you have hotel in Perkasa, you have motel, But so if the lake is a possible destination, what sort of concept would you like to propose at the location, at the site? Is it going to be one operator, two operators, many operators, together with other, like the people proposed at the gate of Malay Basin? I mean, these are things that I think should be written so that people can make up their mind during the presentation, the stakeholder consultative workshop nanti.
I think Dr. Mariam want to add some more. Maybe ya. Disebut. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Doctor. Actually, the concept is we agree that the lake is a conservation area. It's part of the bigger area, and it should not have any mass tourism. Because even now, what the association has been doing is more on adventure-based tourism, where you have to trek to actually arrive to the lake, and it's not accessible easily. Macam kita drive sampai kereta sana, so the trekking takes days even. So if you say our group consensus was not to build the facilities at the lake itself, no, because if we want to conserve that as our main conservation selling point, then for our nature-based tourism in that area, all the accommodation or facilities should be elsewhere. So, and we can keep it as a very niche market for people who are into adventure tourism, where they are willing to hike, because there are market for this kind of tourists. But to open it as a mass tourism, for me personally, I would discourage that, because this is something that, how do I say, you have to earn for you to enjoy it, something like that. So we can sort of revise our suggestion on, because we didn't talk too much about how or the facilities that we want to build. It's more that we identified first what are the tourism or products available in that area. Then the area or the investor, like Tuan said, they have the option to, do you want to focus on nature-based tourism, wildlife-based tourism, or cultural? Or we can combine all to involve the local community. But in short, not to build the main facilities at the lake itself, but yes, we were talking about now, after the long hours of hiking, all they can only camp at a very rundown facility at present. So in a way to be discussed, maybe there should also be a very minimal camping punya area, kan, not at the lake itself, but nearby where they can access the lake lah. Because at present, I think Persatuan bawa pelancong to go there, and they have to camp with very, very basic facility lah sekarang.
I mean, I've been there.
Yeah.
But it will be good, I think, to build an information, very
Yeah.
informative building.
Yes.
Because, like Lumasut Estate says, it's an interesting folklore. And you can actually describe that
Build the
based on the
story.
geology. You can see because it is thought to have occurred, through the blockage of a river. Now, the blockage of river created the damming effect that sunk a village, potential village inside. So that is, I mean, you can actually explain it through the
Story, yeah.
the story, and you can see it from the geomorphology. See, you have the escarpment where there's a lot of landslide happen. You can still see the bekas landslide itu, and you can imagine the landslide, the mudslide with a strong storm blocking another river, overflowing and blocking another river. You can imagine and you can explain that. So if you have a information building,
Yes.
not too close, down, would be very good. And it's also like a ranges post.
Yes.
To safeguard further.
Yeah. One of our action plan was also to increase the patrolling, the guiding, and the researching activities there. It's not only a way to engage the community, but also to prevent any illegal poachings and that sort of activities. Yeah, but for our group, identifying the niche product was our highlight, and then I don't think we will face any problems getting investors to come in to sell those products to the tourists. Masa si Kevin ya.
Okay, I think that's the end of the presentation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So basically, up till now, up till the fifth group, what I can see is that the importance of including everyone in the ecotourism itself, community around the area, and also the ecosystem is a must in building a very good sustainable ecosystem itself. So without further ado, I think we have 2 more groups to go, and then how about your concentration? Are there still about like what, 90%? Are we good to go for the next group? Okay, let's go for the next group then. Okay, the next group will be the sixth group, presenting about. Wait, let me see. Kuamut tourism site. So yeah, we invite the 6th group to present about Kuamut tourism group.
Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, very good afternoon everyone. My name is Shamsuddin Osman. I'm from Borneo Rainforest Lodge. I'm representing Group 6, which gonna try and figure out what we, and hopefully this is something that our dreams come true for Kuamut tourism site, okay? Now, I remember For the last 5 group, everyone have their own SWOT, the obstacle and the opportunities is all there. And again, they are very much similar to each and every one. So I may skip some of that, but I will touch something that will probably interest everyone here. Okay, for Kwamut, you look at the blue dot there, that's, I think everyone's, just give some idea where it is. So it's far eastern part of the concession area. Now, we try and get a better look of the, sorry, this, we have, yeah. Now, if you look, this is just, I think this is about 10 square kilometer of the area. So we are surrounded with just pure virgin forests for this Kwamut potential tourism area. And the only way to get there, first of all, there's nothing there. There's just pure jungle, pristine forest. Then the only way to get there is either we ride on a boat, which take about 3 days. Okay, you can imagine that. But we're talking about all this obstacle that we have to go through. And the other way to get there is via flying in with helicopters. Okay, so they are all abandoned road, all logging roads, not far. Further downstream, they're about close to about 3 kilometers. There's all abandoned bridge where that, so to prevent illegal entry. So basically, that's just picture that we are right in the middle of nowhere, and we try to develop it. Okay, and of course, all this opportunity, having all this wildlife abundancy is there. I think one of our discussion is the bunting, our tambadao. So in good numbers, and there is what they refer to as the mineral soil, where this is the area where they congregate, which is not very often that you'll see that. So having that in this particular round area that been pinpointed in this particular area is the potential. This is an iconic species that we're looking into trying to promote. So this is one of the, and it's been very secluded. And the nearest is if you have people to walk, take days. But also, we're talking about the threats. There's also potential. The river itself is a threat where people can maneuver from the nearest Kalabakan Road all the way down to the Kwamut, where there are population. I mean, hunters can go through this and then they can go hunt whatever along the way. So that's one of the major threats that we have. So okay, there's, of course, the SWOT analysis all there, but I'll go straight to the where we can pinpoint between the opportunities and the strength. So with all having said that, we leverage on the iconic species. I already mentioned about the tambadao, and then we have this, everyone was talking about bird watching things. This is the, I am sure here in Sabah we have all these species that iconic enough that people willing to pay to come and see them. Okay, of course, the river itself is an opportunity, so we use that as part of our natural beauty that we. I understand that some of these places have still pristine, clear water that people can enjoy that river itself. Okay, and river activity is there. I mean, the potential is abundant. We can just think about that. But the main idea is if we develop this, is basically extension of where I'm working now, Borneo Rainforest Lodge. So having that, I'm not sure how, and if anybody here have been to Borneo Rainforest Lodge? Okay, so you understand what I'm saying, that I'm trying to extend that facility here. About more than 30 years ago, this is what probably Borneo Rainforest Lodge is. This is all you see in the map of just pristine forests around. So I'm selling this idea, this dream that we have. Because I used to work when we started Borneo Forest Lodge 30 years ago. So I started to see the forest and then look at what Borneo Forest Lodge is now. So that area, this strength and opportunity that we have, mentioning here, is basically is the product that we have, what we can sell. But the whole idea is actually to put extension of Borneo Rainforest Lodge there, having premium service, premium rooms, premium, maybe not so much activity, because this activity that we have here is, we need to further survey so that pinpoint where we're going to put the lodge itself, pinpoint where the tower going to be, the height going to be. That is the dreams, okay? So basically, as I mentioned, scientific expedition, or maybe in that particular area to get more details so that we can place all these necessary things in place. So, of course, that may take a few years so that it's more comprehensive and more details that allow people to come and see it and enjoy being there. So our target market is the rich and famous. I think less than that, okay? So just if you've been to BRL and you heard this saying, the rich and famous, so these people are filthy rich, they're obscene rich. When you say something, it's going to cost you something, they're just going to say, just charge me. They don't even want to know how much it is. So this is the target market. And I think all this information later on, maybe because we're going to be sharing this again with the community in our maybe Drive, Google Drive or things like that. That's the. But I want to just share the gist. So this is the dreams. Yeah? People fly there for 7 days, and the helicopter will be there for 7 days. If they feel like flying and go see all the waterfall, the cascading river all around, even to see what it means by develop a forest, plantation, management of plantation, all around, all through the air. Okay? Of course, this is all money. When you fly a helicopter, is of course, it's that cost. And this itself is an education. This is one of the themes I was talking about yesterday. This is all about education. When you show them what management, forest management is all about, then what pristine forest we preserve is all about, and what beauty we have there, and what strength that we want to keep. Okay, we have some suggestion. Discussion just earlier on. Catch and release fishing. Catch and release fishing is already something interesting, but we add some more. The fish that we catch, we tag them. We put what do we call this? So that you know when you catch this fish again, whether you'll catch the same fish or a different fish. And every time you catch a fish, you tag them with what do you call that? What is the name? We tag our wildlife usually, a microchip. So this microchip, if you've been to KINABALU Park, you watch the bird, you see, they all have colors, rings. That indicate when they were captured, whether it is a migratory species. The same thing with the fish. This, so that the guests who pay a lot also feel that they contribute to scientific research in there. So this is some of the product that maybe entice them to come and stay with us.
I like your imagination, Sam.
This is all about storytelling. Yeah, so this is the phase 1, phase 2 that we also go through. But I think this is something that everyone would really like to see.
Wow. Sam, you got a project already.
I think,
project an investor.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is doable.
I believe you. I believe you. No, truly.
Yes.
I'm not kidding.
You know, where is this That's 40,000 is actually not per pack. That's 20,000 per pack per night for 7 days. Multiple that for 2 packs. That's roughly about that 1 week. It's about close to 300,000.
You have the client already.
Yes, we do have the clients. Some of our ambassador, Judy Dance, who else? Isabella Rossellini, David Attenberg. These are the people that market us later on. We will approach them. This is our strategy. So with these people, who doesn't know James Bond? Who doesn't know David Attenberg? Our selling point is whatever we have, but everyone already been talking about. The wildlife, the scenery, the river itself. And of course, with 20,000 per day charge for every person that stay with us, we need to have the services, a person like me, to sweep talk them. They stay longer. After we sell the package 7 days, they say,
There is one that you have that the others do not have. Exclusivity.
Exclusivity, privacy.
There's no orang kampung here.
Yeah, there's no camping. That's why I didn't, if you look through we don't have this element of local involvement. Of course, in terms of local, we also, the spill out will be opportunity as a staff member, as our guide. As maybe we don't call them a guide, we call them naturalists. Okay? So, how many bells is already there? Last one bell already, isn't it? So, okay. Again, this is a dream because we're looking at the pristine forest. 30 years ago, Borneo Rainforest Lodge is exactly the same. Yeah, look at this. Only 5 chalet. And these 5 chalet, when we discussed with Ivan just now, Ivan is with Borneo Ecotour. They have 2 resorts already. The 5 chalet is one is for the parents. If you come with a family, the second chalet. The third chalet will be for the bodyguard. The fifth chalet will be for these people probably will bring their own chef. So we cater 5 so that we can be able to get them to enjoy what they really want to do there. And this place is so secluded that by pinpointing where is the salt lake, where is the Tambadao going to be, we're going to build the tower. Maybe a 5 to 10 minutes walk from the chalet to these places. This is again the feasibility study that we need to come up and research for 2 years just to before we actually identified where we put the structure. Okay, I think the bell is already done. I'm done here. So, but then again, I need to share with you guys. I think my Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Style, already mentioned that we already been certified as GSTC Hotel. We already been certified as WOTEC Green Hotel. We receive a lot of award for best jungle lodge destination. I think a handful. I think I cannot, say all of them. So with that accreditation itself, give us this ability to sell a market ourselves. Because with this accreditation, with all the certification, it's already good enough saying that we are capable of providing this service to the clientele, which is very specific clientele. Thank you. Any question?
Thank you so much, Mr. Presenter. So any add-ons from the floor? Any questions?
Now the pricing that we have is basically just to break even. This is just to break even, so that we don't we try not to lose. Again, through experience with BRL, we do experience long period of time where we actually not making money.
When we want to show the government that any program project you're doing in this conservation area can support that we can get something, what do you call that? Kekuatan keuangan.
Yeah, the ROI, the return of investment, yeah.
Your cash flow is there, right? It's some indication that we can explore more. Because to me, to make tourism is very sustainable, we cannot rely on certain area. All area in Sabah, district or any potential kawasan, we should develop to make our tourism more sustainable in the long term.
Okay, I think, yeah.
So you can use by having your strong financial ROI as a big indication that people that this we can achieve. And also at the same time we can contribute to the state revenue or Sabah particular.
Yeah, now that point, I not so much of the financial issue of it, but there's our member of the group just earlier on did also mention about we have to be coming up with all these ideas, all these dreams, but then trying our best to, because it's achievable, that's one. There's a proven record already. And yes, we also have to look into issues like, there's one question from John Tay just now about who owned the land. Now we are, this area is actually in the first class protected forest. So the first things that hurdles that we need to get is whether we're going to be able to put it there or not. Okay, so of course we have to sweet talk first, so that we give them indication that with proven record that we have done in Danang Valley, it's probably a good example. And of course, for that money issue, with all the strategic planning that we actually have in this, I assume the government will be very happy to, with again the track record. And as I said, it's an extension of BRL there. Okay, I think for a new company, they will have that biggest question. Okay, what is the ROI now? But with extension, with all the accreditation that we receive already and proof record, that's how we operate, I think it's not impossible at all. Thank you. Any more questions?
But the basic thing is you're suggesting these areas should be high-end, exclusive, and there should not be too many lodges in it.
Yes.
Maybe one.
Yep.
That's what we want to say in the management plan. This particular location is for this. This particular location is for this, based on this geographic and biology. I mean the biology aspect of it. Yeah. Okay, good.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samsudin. Again, very powerful presentation just now, focusing more on the high-end audience in the tourism industry. And then we are heading straight to the last group for this afternoon. Group 7 will be presenting about Kalabakan Upland Tourism Sites. So can I have the presenter to the front? So right after this, Dr. Fifi will be giving her wrap-up about for the program itself.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good evening. So, I think a lot of people don't know me yet. So, my name is Farha. I'm from SABAH Wildlife Department for Tawau District. So, I'll be presenting about. So, I'll be presenting for our Group 7, which is Upland Kelabakan tourism site. So for the location, actually this tourism site is located in the Class 1 Protection Forest Reserve at Sungai Tiagau Forest Reserve at 185 meters above sea level, and it lies near the phase 2 of the Inikia project and serves as a strategic northern border control point with access roads from Marimba Research Station 5 km, Maris River Camp 19 km, Luasong Forestry Center 39 km, and the Kelabakan Tawau Main Road 60 km. So basically, when we first discussed about this tourism site, we haven't had many research findings because they told us that they did the survey only for 2 weeks in that area, and it happens last year. So we haven't had enough finding for that. So for the SWOT analysis, so we could say that the strengths, it could be like a wildlife safari, wildlife sightings, and the location is actually near the Inikia, so it complements Inikia, and also we would like to preserve it as the untouched forest. And they told us that there is also waterfalls and bird caves. So for the wildlife safari, they did told us about the inventory, and mostly like mammals, birds, reptiles, and amphibians are seen during the survey. So around like 90 species of it. So the weaknesses is the lack of information or data, also the facilities, and also the place is actually in a remote location since it's in the Class 1 Forest Reserve, and high transportation costs, low emergency response capacity, lack of human resource or field experts. Seasonal conditions affect accessibility, no SOP for future activities. So what we're trying to check all this, we find out that the place has lack of facilities also, and also remote, and then the transportation from the main road to the location actually like takes longer time in a day. So we also found out that if we want to propose tourism here, we also found that we gonna have like low manpower and also low emergency response capacity, lack of human resources or field experts, and so on. So for the opportunities, it actually research and education potential, ecotourism development, resource audit, water quality, establishment of a research center, and wildlife rehab. We've been also told that Inikia is focused on the forest rehabilitation, and so we would like to continue as it is. So for the opportunity is actually we would like to propose about edutourism, educational tourism, which opens up to students or local universities. So the threats, natural disasters, poaching, potential mining, safety concern and non-ecological factors, forest fire vulnerability, agriculture chemical from nearby plantation. So for natural disaster, it's actually there's the site from their survey, they found out there's it can be flood happens when during the rain, so they couldn't go into the survey when it's raining into the site. So probably it could be floods, landslide, or road collapse. So for the poaching, threat to wildlife population and the site's ecotourism appeal. So in Kalabakan itself, we actually known for its poaching activities or illegal wildlife hunting. So yes, poaching is a threat for wildlife population if you want to focus into the wildlife tourism. So another threat is also potential mining activities. So which is actually it doesn't happen now, but it may happen in the future when maybe development will be needed, maybe, but not sure. So safety concerns is that when you open up like a forest reserve, even in my department, we are concerned about how the wild animals will going out from the forest and will be having like a human wildlife conflict to the surroundings. So it is actually a concern for our safety, especially the community lives nearby. So this is our TOWS matrix. So you can see this is our strengths, opportunity strategies, strengths, threat strategies, weakness, opportunity strategies, and also weakness, threat strategies. So for the strength, we would like to promote pristine forest and wildlife for eco and ecotourism, just like trekking, camping, and safaris. And for the natural, is using the waterfalls and also the bird cave to attract institutions, including the uni research and conservation project. So you can see, you can also read from the slide. So this is our action plan for the short term. We would like to establish Ecotourism Foundation, build research partnership, safety and emergency readiness, and also also the same. For the responsible party and resources needed, we couldn't have much time to discuss, so we only put the two there. For the midterm, years 4 and 6, to improve eco or research infrastructure, expand marketing and advocacy, strengthen conservation enforcement. So for the long term, from year 7 to 10 years, is to become a regional ecotourism and research hub, advance ecosystem rehabs, long-term sustainability and community integration. So we've got like the short-term, mid-term, and also long-term, since it should be like review for every 4 months, I think, because we haven't decided on what concept we want to use for tourism, because we haven't had enough data to propose. So our main purpose is just for education, research, and maybe from research we can upgrade into like scientific expedition, and then from that, if we know there's a purpose, then we're going to develop ecotourism now. So this is just some of the photo from their survey. So we've got some there, takes by porcupine and somebody here. So this is one of the unique hydrogeological features. which is the river, and also the waterfall and bird cave. So for the conclusion, we prioritize building an education and research hub first, maybe a base camp for the years 1 to 5, and then for the phase in ecotourism gradually. This is one, just like I said before, maybe a niche tourism. So ensure education and research hub first, then tourism second. So I think, yeah. Got any question?
Questions from the floor? Thank you so much for the presentation. So the last group is focusing more on edu-tourism itself, where education is the most important thing to do before tourism. So, okay, so any question from the floor?
If you got any question, my helpline also over there.
Okay, at the back. So any question? No.
Can we comment?
Sure, comment can also.
I thought you said any questions.
No, it's open for anything.
I mean, you know that we've been working with IKEA on this. They actually spend money to rehabilitate this. I think your proposal fit into what they want. I would have expected you to say, "Oh, I want to build a niche hotel there, resort," but you didn't. So it's good because it's coming from you guys. So this gradual approach toward developing that because I know the site, I've been there. So the gradual approach toward building up these facilities, I think, is a good idea. And our partner, who has been spending money on this area, I think would be happy with that suggestions. But if you say one big hotel pun okay juga lah. But you didn't, so you won't go into the management plan, of course.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wade, for the opinion just now. So I think that's about it for our presentation this afternoon. So I will now maybe ask for Dr. Vivi to give the wrap up. Is it okay? Yes, better.
Hello. Okay, Assalamualaikum and selamat petang and good afternoon everyone. So this is just a summary of what we have, doing for the whole 1.5 days today until this moment. So thank you very much for every groups. You have done very well, actually. With so limited information, so limited resources, and some of you even don't have the opportunity to visit that place, but yet you still give all you have to help us to think about the way forward in terms of Maliau Basin as one of the ecotourism destinations for its master plan. So basically what I can conclude it, but before I can conclude it, please, ada nota, please finish up your reporting, and then you will share to the secretariat, because I have also to do the full report lah. Okay, but what I can conclude is that Maliau Basin is truly a destination that have its own uniqueness. Okay, like I said, I've been to every part of Sabah, and then to look for some experiences of ecotourism. So when we talk about Sabah, people will always say it about biodiversity, conservations, and everything is the same. Night drive, safari, night walk, it's everything the same. But what makes the uniqueness of Maliau Basin is those activities or experiences that you propose today. It's very unique, you see. For example, the Kuamut. You might never know it will become extensions of BRL. Because Binaya, with all this community, you might never know. So you have all these different experiences in one place, Maliau Basin. Instead, if you go only, for example, Sukau and Kinabatangan, you always experience the same thing. You go to SRL, you go to apalagi nama lodges there, they are selling the same thing and looking at the same animal, the same experience. What difference is that? The experience when you stay in their lodges saja, dia punya hospitality, and what else pengisian-pengisian ataupun the elements during the night time. But I really, impressed to see that you are selling experiences in Maliau Basin, different experience. Even some who suggest dark tourism. Okay, so you can have all these different experiences in one place, that is Maliau Basin. So I hope I will successfully wrap up everything in the report, and I think the management also, the secretary will also share with everyone the full report. And thank you very much, and just keep in touch lah, just in case I stuck in somewhere. Okay, so thank you very much, and I hope you have a fruitful kata orang discussion today, and we will keep in touch for your reporting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Philip, for the wrap-up. Again, maybe just a reminder, the outcomes of all the presentation just now will be maybe collected by the secretariat, right? For further research. So please give a copy to the secretariat, and then we would like to invite Dr. Whitey Simon to the front for some little briefing. Yeah. And then we would like to invite Dr. Fifi as well to the front. Yes, ambil gambar. Small token of appreciation for the effort that has been done for this 1.5 days since yesterday. So thank you so much to our facilitator, Dr. Fifi. And then I would like to have Dr. Wali to give his last speech for today.
Thank you, Aslan. I'm quite And I said, what that indicates? It indicates that there's still there's something that we are discussing here that make everybody interested to stay on, and that's basically we have been discussing the last few days hope, that everybody is hoping that whatever discussion that we have today will somehow be captured for the future generations or our generations to implement. And I think that would not have been possible if we have not a full participation from everybody. So the unique thing about things that we discuss like this is we're actually going to write it down on the management plan. Few years in the future, when you have retired, you're sitting in a veranda, your daughters and your children is working perhaps in one of these places, one of these 7 places, you will then say to yourself, I have contributed in making that which now become a reality. So let us put our hand together, thanking everybody for a workshop well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wadi, for the closing speech.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the end of our workshop, I want to take a moment to reflect on our time together. So we begin with the Sustainable Financing Workshop, which lasted for the first 1.5 days, and we move on to the Ecotourism Workshop, which also spent 1.5 days. So on behalf of the Conservation and Environmental Management Division and Yayasan SABAH, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has diligently contributed to the success of this workshop. And first, we extend our thanks to our collaborator, Preferred by Nature, for their support in making this workshop possible. And special thanks to Mr. Nick and Ms. Kim, who are attending this 3 days workshop. And second, we would like to specifically acknowledge our facilitator, Dr. Fifi Hasnida Saikim. Your insights and contributions have been invaluable in helping us reach the objective of the workshop, and we truly appreciate your efforts. And third, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to all participants here for your active engagement and valuable contributions that made this workshop a success. We appreciate the time you dedicated to this event, to this workshop, and hope it offered useful insight that will support our mutual professional development. Thank you for being a part of this experience, and we look forward to seeing you at future events or programs. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the hard work of all the staff of the Conservation and Environmental Management Division, as well as the Secretariat, for their tremendous efforts over the past 2 days. And this recognition also extends to our IT specialists, Mr. Joe and also Mr. Salihuddin, and also to our cameraman from the corporate division, Mr. Azri and also Mr. Fahmi. And thank you all for making this workshop both fruitful and memorable. Well done, everyone. Safe travel home and have a wonderful day.
Oh, but before that, please stay. Maybe we can take a last photo for today. Everyone at the back to the front. So, like yesterday, Dok.